wisdom is not only for deep thinkers. I think a lot of the time we think we have to outsource our meaning or our deep thinking to someone smarter, at least somebody else, someone who's a deep thinker. And I don't think that's true. You don't have to look for somebody wiser. You don't have to look for someone who has wisdom to distill that wisdom for you. I think that it's in all of us to have wisdom. It's not that you're a deep thinker and therefore you're wise. It's that you have wisdom because in little everyday actions, you have to have discernment. You have to choose. Choose how you react. Choose what to do. You have to make decisions about things that might have a little bit more serious ramifications than you initially think. And that's what wisdom is. Sure, there's wisdom in being a deep thinker, but it's not exclusive. And also, we can all be deep thinkers on some level. But again, it's not exclusive to be wise and being a deep thinker. Think about it this way. First of all, how do you acquire wisdom? Well, in my perspective, you acquire wisdom by having experiences, doing things, period. You acquire wisdom by doing things every single day, having experiences, and just thinking about them, learning from them. The act of acquiring wisdom is learning from your experiences, which is why we have the stereotype of an old sage, a wise elder, because they've done a lot of stuff. And in some ways, it's a little bit discouraging because it seems like the only way you can become more wise is to just be older and have done more things. And to an extent, that's true. But by doing more things, you can become wiser sooner. And you don't magically become a deep thinker by being more wise. It's just that you have a better understanding of how to discern. And that's what wisdom is. So then the second question is, how do you use that wisdom? And this one's a little more difficult. I think, first of all, you have to think about what are the ways in which I need to become more wise or grow in wisdom, because you can have experiences and not yet learn from them. And so you have wisdom yet to be acquired. Think about it that way. And so if you're considering how do I need to use that wisdom, it requires some self-reflection where you think about where am I, maybe weak isn't the best word for it, but where do I have room to grow? Where do I have room to improve who I am or improve what I do or improve how I communicate? You think about yourself in those ways where what do I have that could be better or could be more full or more truthfully executed? And when you think about those things, it can kind of become a little more obvious where your wisdom needs to be used. And then how you do that is based on, I think, the relationships that you have, whether that's with people, yourself, objects, activities. Making sure those relationships are mature in a way that is mutually beneficial to where you are giving. The application of wisdom is putting something out that is intended for the betterment of all involved. So I think the ultimate question really, again, is where do we need to grow in wisdom? And I think that's different for everybody. And so it takes introspection. It takes thinking about who you are, to an extent who you want to be, and then further, what path did it take to get there? And then you have to think about the fact that wisdom is not an end goal. It's not a destination you arrive at. You don't just get to be 60 and then you're wise. It's a process. It's the path. It's the journey itself. You hear a lot, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And yes, it's trite, but it is true in a way. But whenever you think about it from the perspective of wisdom, Wisdom is the journey. It is the path. Because whenever you think of an old man or an old woman who is wise, it's not because they became wise, it's because they've done a lot of stuff. Like I said, by doing things, you gain experience and you can learn from those things. And that is wisdom. Not the being old, but the having done things. So, definitionally, wisdom is the path. So think about that. Where do you have to become wise? What opportunities do you have to become wise? And how is the path that you're on shaping the way you'll be able to cultivate wisdom when you are the old sage?